about what kind of a trader or investor you are. So as you may know, trading and investing are very, very different things. I've mentioned the differences between trading and investing in previous videos. But in this video, I'm going to be using like I think a very, very functional personality test to help you determine, whether you are, like whether you're more of a trader, more an investor, and specifically what kind of a trader or investor you are. Okay. So behind me, you can see the car that I drive, and this is a Volvo XC90 2017 model. It's a T8. You can see that it is a plug-in hybrid. This one is rated to be 407 horsepower by the manufacturer, but I've done like stage 1 modifications, and therefore, I've boosted up the engine tune. I've done like a catback exhaust system, and I'm actually in the process of like planning out stage 2. So I'm waiting for some parts to arrive. Intercooler replacement. I'm gonna do the lowering suspensions. Going to boost up the brakes a little bit. But right now, as it is with the current mods, it's about 470 horsepower. I've done some modifications to the intake as well. So the 0 to 100 time is somewhere close, very, very close to 5 seconds flat. All right. So, but what has that got to do with this video? Okay. So the way that basically the simple personality test that's going to reveal what kind of a trader you are or investor you are is going to be like, what are your highway habits? All right. So how many of you actually drive who are watching this video? If you drive, drop a comment beneath this video so that I know that if you drive, well, this video unfortunately is going to cater more specifically to those people who drive, because only when you drive, then we can talk about your highway habits. So what kind of highway habits specifically? All right, if you are the type of person that stays in the same lane for the entire journey, for a good part of the journey, unless there's any merging traffic, you always stay in the same lane. It don't matter whether you're staying in the middle lane, you're staying in the overtaking lane or the slowest lane, but if you stay in the same lane, you're more of an investor. All right? And then if you are in the habit of switching lanes, you are more of a trader. Now, as you may start to have an idea of where I'm going, okay? Like I said, if you stay with the same lane, you're an investor. If you keep switching lanes, you're a trader. Now we're going to talk about how this actually varies with what kind of investor, what kind of a trader that you're going to be. So if you are staying in the so-called fast lane, all right, we will observe this sometimes, that the so-called fast lane, the overtaking lane, in right-hand drive countries, it is the rightmost lane. In left-hand drive countries, it's the leftmost lane. So if you are in the fast lane, all right, the fast lane ain't always the fastest lane, and there are many times where the other lanes can be quicker, true or not, right? But the thing is that if you automatically get into the fast lane, all right, basically you are looking, you would be someone who wants a little bit of a quicker return on investment, and then someone who is in the slow vehicles lane or the heavy vehicles lane. The heavy vehicles lane is, for the people in the right-hand drive countries, the leftmost, and if you're in the left-hand drive countries, that's the rightmost. So that basically talks about what kind of investor you are. So if you are like slow lane, that's you're looking for like something slow and steady. You're not in a hurry, all right? If you're in the fast lane, well, fast lane ain't always the fastest, but it's usually quicker than the other two lanes. And if you're in the middle lane, then definitely you're more like you have a little bit more appetite for risk, appetite for the but not obviously not as much appetite as someone who's in the overtaking lane. And okay, so let's talk about the differences between someone who doesn't change lanes but sticks with one lane, sticks with the fast lane perhaps, and the one who changes lanes very rapidly. Okay, so I am actually one of those people who like zigzags the highway like crazy. I have no qualms about dropping 2 or 3 gears down, just to quickly go into a spot and then out the other way. or even out the other side. And it's very common that, you might see me going, if you ever saw me drive, you would see me going from like the leftmost to the rightmost or leftmost again, just to kind of make my way around these very slow vehicles. There are pros and cons to doing zigzag kind of driving or snaking driving along the highway. Uh, you know, the pros is that, sometimes people say that, why don't you just stay in one lane? Wouldn't that be quicker? No, it's not. For those of you who drive the same way that I do, you will know that this saves a lot of time, because sometimes even like the difference of 10 seconds here, 10 seconds there, it all adds up to a couple of minutes. So therefore, I like to have a very fast vehicle. And on the other hand, the con of driving in this way, of zigzagging around, is that sometimes you ever experience it that as soon as you change the lane, you realize that the lane that you came from is moving quicker. So this is similar to sometimes when we are making trades and then we're like, oh crap, all right. If you are a trader, all right, let's say if you're a trader, like if you're doing like Forex and stocks, you're going to be like, okay, exit, hedge, switch, like fund switch, change your asset. If it's binary, then you're going to like, I think binary is very, very, very appropriate for this kind of driving behavior, because let's say if you're frequently switching like that, you're looking at very quick trades on a 15 seconds chart, 30 seconds chart, and you're just looking for opportunities, bang, 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 basically. And even if the market goes silent at some times, it doesn't affect us. We're perfectly prepared for that, because when we try to make our way through a jam, if you live in Asia in a congested city, where there are like long open stretches of unblocked traffic, and at the same time bad bottlenecks at sometimes. Like over here in Thailand, expressways are great. When it's good, it's really good. But at the same time, there can be like 15-minute bottlenecks here and there, and that's just the price to pay. So if you are a trader, you understand that that's the price to pay. And if you're an investor, an investor. The difference between an investment and someone who trades is that, like, sometimes, there are benefits in investing for the long term, in the sense that while trading may help us catch most of the movements that are available, the part where investing becomes sometimes better, it's not always better, sometimes better, and sometimes it can be better by a lot, is when, like, sometimes you can't see ahead that a lane is being closed. And you don't know for how long it gets reopened up, and once it does, your lane is totally open. So by staying with that lane that you've been in, suddenly, when all the other lanes could be congested because of some accident or roadworks or whatever, you meet a stretch, that moves the quickest. So like there's sometimes in the congestion that the rightmost or leftmost is the quickest, and just by staying with that lane, it saves you a lot of trouble and saves you a lot of time and fuel from zigzagging instead. So those are the times when just sticking with one action, by committing yourself to something, actually pays off better than like switching around. And on the other hand, let's say if you are used to, okay, let's put it this way. If you never thought of comparing like trading and the way you drive ever before, I want you to look at it like this, okay? Because many people, when they come into trading, they just have a problem to deal with loss. Loss as in, sometimes in trading, we can get really good days, and there are times that we get a drought. For instance, like over here in Bangkok, it is like a drought. There's been 2 months with basically only about 2 hours worth of rain. All right, this is quite strange. So sometimes there can be a drought that can be really congested traffic, and you try as you may, you're trying to speed this way, speed that way, but if everything's blocked up, you just can't do anything. You just have to just stay in your lane. You can't go anywhere even if you wanted to, and switching lanes is not going to help. So there will be times that when you're trading, no matter the number of trades you take, no matter how many sessions of trading you try to fit in a day, there will be the days or weeks when you find that you're still struggling at break even. But this is no different from a traffic congestion. If you look at it that way, well, then it's perfectly understandable and stomachable by yourself. Then think about it as, what's going to be the next thing that happens when you're driving and you're with a congestion. There will come a point where the congestion opens up, it gets decongested, and you're finally able to drive at a quicker speed again, and hopefully, at full speed ahead. And there are also the times when it just doesn't improve. It could be congested all the way up to your destination, but however, on the way back, it's totally open. So these are some of the things that if you relate it to your traveling experiences, it ain't so hard to think of how you're going to manage with a trading scenario that you're facing right now, or last week, or next month, or whatever. Does that make sense? If that makes sense, drop a comment below this video so I know it helped out. And on the other hand, let's say if you're investing, okay, the thing with investments, the thing with staying in one lane, okay, you have to know that staying in one lane has its benefits and it also has its disadvantages. The benefits are that if this is supposed to be the quicker lane, and at some point it's going to open up and you can go like full speed ahead, and you possibly would be way quicker staying with that lane rather than zigzagging somewhere else, because when traffic's moving fast, you can't get back in time. Think of it as like, let's say when Bitcoin's on the bull run or on the bear drop, all right, you want to get in, but you can't get in time. You can't get the proper entry. It's the same thing like that. Sometimes when you see a lane that's moving so fast, you're like, oh crap, why did I get out that lane? I want to get back in, but I can't because every car's going so fast and my lane is crawling. So understand the differences between trading and investing. Relate this to your trading approaches. To quickly summarize, like I said, if you're the type of person to stick to one lane, then you are more of an investor. And if you're the type to stay in the middle lane versus at the faster side or the slower side, that determines like how quickly you want a return on your investment. And on the other hand, if you're trading, how often do you do you switch lanes a lot, or sometimes, or moderate? If you switch lanes a lot, then you're probably more suited to very, very short-term binary options like 60-second options, 30-second binary options, 2-minute binary options. If you are kind of moderate about your lane changing, I mean, you don't try to change every available opportunity, but every other opportunity as necessary, then probably you're like more suited to like 5-minute trades, 10-minute trades. And let's say if you do change once in a while, but you do change as opposed to staying one lane. You just don't believe in staying one lane, but you do change from time to time, but more like once in a while. Then probably like 15, 20-minute trades, 30-minute trades is going to be more suitable for you. All right. And likewise, apply all the things that you experience in driving to the way that you trade, and you're going to find that you're not really on that unfamiliar ground anymore. And in fact, you can manage with most of these circumstances. All right. I hope this video helped you out. Drop me your comments below this video, and bye for now. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't done yet, and look out for my next videos too. Bye.